The Rajasthan State Archives at Bikaner preserve 3 other firmans addressed by Shah Jahan to the Jaipur's ruler Jai-Singh, ordering the latter to supply marble for Mumtaz's grave and Quranic grafts from his granite quarries and stone cutters. Jai-Singh was apparently so enraged at the blatant seizure of the Taj Mahal that he refused to oblige Shah Jahan by providing marble for grafting Quranic engravings and fake cenotaphs for further desecration of the Taj Mahal. Jai-Singh looked at Shah Jahan's demand for marble and stone cutters as an insult added to injury. Therefore, he refused to send any marble and instead detained the stone cutters in his protective custody. The ex-Maharaja of Jaipur retains in his secret personal Kapad Dwara collection 2 orders from Shah Jahan dated December 18, 1633, bearing modern nos. R.176 and 177, re-questioning the Taj building complex. That was so blatant a usurpation that the then ruler of Jaipur was ashamed to make the document public. Bernier, a contemporary French visitor, has noted that non-Muslims were barred entry into the basement at the time when Shah Jahan requisitioned Mansingh's palace, which contained a dazzling light. Obviously, he referred to the silver doors, gold railing, the gem-studded lattice and strings of pearl hanging over Shiva's idol. Shah Jahan commandeered the building to grab all the wealth, making Mumtaz's death a convenient pretext. Vincent Smith records in his book titled Akbar the Great Mughal that Babur's turbulent life came to an end in his garden palace in Agra in 1630. That palace was none other than the Taj Mahal. Babur's daughter Gulbuddin Begum in her chronicle titled Humayun Nama refers to the Taj as the mystic house. Babur himself refers to the Taj in his memoirs as the palace captured by Ibrahim Lodi, containing a central octagonal chamber and having pillars on the 4 sides. All these historical references allude to the Taj 100 years before Shah Jahan. Peter Mundy, an English visitor to Agra, recorded in 1632, within only a year of Mumtaz's death, that the places of note in and around Agra included Taj-e Mahal's tomb, gardens and bazaars. He, therefore, confirms that the Taj Mahal had been a noteworthy building even before Shah Jahan. Johann Albert Mandelsloh, who describes life in Agra in 1638, only 7 years after Mumtaz's death, in detail, in his Voyages and Travels to West Indies, published by John Starkey and John Bassett, London, makes no mention of the Taj Mahal being under construction, though it is commonly erringly asserted or assumed that the Taj was being built from 1631 to 1653. Hindu architecture of Taj Mahal. Dome, a central dome with cupolas at its 4 corners, is a universal feature of Hindu temples. Pillars. The 4 marble pillars at the plinth corners are of the Hindu style. They are used as lamp towers during night and watch towers during the day. Such towers serve to demarcate the holy precincts. Hindu wedding altars and the altar set up for god Satyanarayan worship have pillars raised at the 4 corners. The Taj Mahal has towers, but no minarets. Hindu towers always start from the floor level, but Mughal minarets rise from the shoulder of buildings. Octagonal shape. The octagonal shape of the Taj Mahal has a special Hindu significance because Hindus alone have special names for the 8 directions, and celestial guards assigned to them. The ground plan consists of an octagonal central domed chamber with an inverted lotus crown, surrounded by 4 small domed chambers. This is the traditional form of Hindu architecture found in the Shilpa Shastra, science of architecture. The pinnacle points to the heaven while the foundation signifies to the nether world. Hindu forts, cities, palaces and temples generally have an octagonal layout or some octagonal features so that together with the pinnacle and the foundation they cover all the 10 directions in which the king or god holds sway, according to Hindu belief. Trident pinnacle. The Taj Mahal has a trident pinnacle over the dome. A full scale of the trident pinnacle is inlaid in the red stone courtyard to the east of the Taj. The central shaft of the trident depicts a kalash, sacred pot, holding 2 bent mango leaves and a coconut. This is a sacred Hindu motif. Identical pinnacles have been seen over Hindu and Buddhist temples in the Himalayan region. Tridents are also depicted against a red lotus background at the apex of the stately marble arched entrances on all 4 sides of the Taj. People fondly but mistakenly believed all these centuries that the Taj pinnacle depicts a Islamic crescent and star was a lighting conductor installed by the British rulers in India. Contrarily, the pinnacle is a marvel of Hindu metallurgy since the pinnacle made of non-rusting alloy is also perhaps a lightning deflector. That the pinnacle of the replica is drawn in the eastern courtyard is significant because the east is of special importance to the Hindus, as the direction in which the sun rises. The pinnacle on the dome has the word Allah on it after capture. The pinnacle figure on the ground does not have the word Allah. Gardens. Description of the gardens around the Taj of Shah Jahan's time mention Ketaki, Jai, Jewett Kampa, Malashri, Harshringer, and Bell. All these are plants whose flowers or leaves are used in the worship of Hindu deities. Bell leaves are exclusively used in Lord Shiva's worship. A graveyard is planted only with shady trees because the idea of using fruit and flower from plants in a cemetery is abhorrent to human conscience. The presence of bell and other flower plants in the Taj garden is proof of its having been a Shiva temple before seizure by Shah Jahan. Yamuna River. Hindu temples are often built on river banks and sea beaches. The Taj is one such built on the bank of the Yamuna River, an ideal location for a Shiva temple. When the Taj Mahal was built, it is claimed that the river Yamuna was half a mile away from the structure, but that the river was diverted to flow alongside the Taj Mahal. The truth of the matter is that the Mughal regime lacked any civil engineering skill. Hindu palaces, however, always used to be built alongside the river. Behind the Taj Mahal is a well-built and paved river bank, known as a ghat, used by Hindu royalty for the purpose of bathing. The gateways opening to the rear were later closed. Resemblance of a palace. There is an underground passage leading from the Taj Mahal to the Agra fort, indicating its origin as a palace. And there are defensive hillocks, to prevent catapults being launched, as well as a moat to the rear. Ganesadarana. On the main gateway, the entire border at waist height is decorated with what is called the Ganesadarana. The elephant trunk and the crown can be clearly identified. In the southern entrance to the outer precincts of the Taj complex, that is, the Tajgunj gate facing the main gateway, above the door arch, there is a small arched recess. It is customary in Hindu forts, for example, the Nagardhan fort near Nagpur, to place an idol of Lord Ganesa in a similar recess above the main entrance. Could it be that the recess above the Taj entrance also contained a similar idol, which was subsequently removed by the iconoclastic invaders? Hidden, locked and sealed chambers in Taj Mahal has beheaded idols of Lord Shiva. Taj is a 7-storied building. Prince Aurangzeb also mentions this in his letter to Shah Jahan. The marble edifice comprises 4 stories including the lone, dull circular hall inside the top, and the lone chamber in the basement. In between are 2 floors each containing 12 to 15 palatial rooms. Below the marble plinth reaching down to the river at the rear are 2 more stories in red stone. They may be seen from the river bank. The 7th story must be below the ground, river, level since every ancient Hindu building had a subterranean story. Immediately below the marble plinth on the river flank are 22 rooms in red stone with their ventilators all walled up by Shah Jahan. Those rooms, made uninhabitably by Shah Jahan, are kept locked by Archaeology Department of India. The lay visitor is kept in the dark about them. Those 22 rooms still bear ancient Hindu paint on their walls and ceilings. On their side is a nearly 33 feet long corridor. There are 2 door frames, one at either end of the corridor. But those doors are intriguingly sealed with brick and lime. Apparently those doorways originally sealed by Shah Jahan have been since unsealed and again walled up several times. In 1934 a resident of Delhi took a peep inside from an opening in the upper part of the doorway. To his dismay he saw a huge hall inside. It contained many statues huddled around a central beheaded image of Lord Shiva. It could be that, in there, are Sanskrit inscriptions too. All the 7 stories of the Taj Mahal need to be unsealed and scoured to ascertain what evidence they may be hiding in the form of Hindu images, Sanskrit inscriptions, scriptures, coins and utensils. Apart from Hindu images hidden in the sealed stories, it is also learnt that Hindu images are also stored in the massive walls of the Taj. Between 1959 and 1962, when Mr. S.R. Rao was the archaeological superintendent in Agra, he happened to notice a deep and wide crack in the wall of the central octagonal chamber of the Taj. When a part of the wall was dismantled to study the crack, out popped 2 or 3 marble images. The matter was hushed up and the images were reburied where they had been embedded at Shah Jahan's behest. Confirmation of this has been obtained from several sources. Its walls and sealed chambers still hide in Hindu idols that were consecrated in it before Shah Jahan's seizure of the Taj. Ref: www.booksfact.com web link.